All right. Thank you, Steve. We're the Odd Couple live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. And Rob, Bill Plaschke went on the Doug Gottlieb show this week after his long-form story on Jeannie Buss and the interview he did with her.
Dropped a couple of A-bombs.
Yeah, he did.
Did you say that?
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. One being that Phil Jackson, according to Plaschke's sources, wants to get rid of LeBron and wants to keep Russell Westbrook. And you might say, well, so what? Who's Phil Jackson did to the Lakers at this point? Well, he has the ear of owner Jeannie Buss, his former girlfriend.
Just the ear?
Apparently she's listening to I think is that making the show?
What I say, Chris?
Anyway, Rob, he says something else that also was a bomb, as you said, and here it is.
I think their top choice is Doc Rivers. They want to bring back Doc Rivers to L.A. But I think if Doc wins his first series, with his second-round series against Miami, he's not going to be available.
Rob?
I'm stunned, flabbergasted, don't get it. I will have been bamboozled and led astray, run amok, whatever you want to do, Chris, because I don't get it. I really don't, and that's no disrespect. I get it. Doc has won a championship. Chris, I told you there's not that many guys out there who have a championship in their back pocket, right? Him, Tyronn Lue, who's with the Clippers, doing a fine job. I'm sure they're not letting him go anywhere. Frank Vogel, who they just got fired. There aren't that many guys. All the other guys are retired or dead.
Mike Budenholzer.
You know, there's just a handful.
Right.
So I get that. You want somebody
Nick
with a little
Nurse,
name and
Steve
a little
Kerr.
moxie. Right. But I'm saying, but they all have jobs, though. You know what I'm saying,
Right.
Chris? They all have jobs. I'm talking about who doesn't have a job, who doesn't have, you know.
They're exposed to, right. No, I hear you.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Out there looking for work.
You're right.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're right.
Stop naming guys.
Doc has a job.
No, but I'm saying there aren't that many out there, so for them to look at him means they want somebody with some cachet. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Right. Rick Carlisle. But I'm just saying. But go ahead.
Chris, be quiet. I said,
go ahead.
who don't have a job. But I don't get it. That he would be their first choice is mind-boggling. The way he left L.A. was not a pretty picture.
Rob, Doc will have, if he's available, it's because he will have been fired from his last two jobs. Why? Because they underachieved. Like, this is not Doc not having any talent. This is Doc being brought to the last two franchises he's been with and one he's still with a roster that virtually everyone thinks should, at the very least, be able to compete for a championship. Like, be a team that can get to a finals. And he has yet to get past the second round with them. The Clippers, he was there for 7 years. Now, I'll give Doc this. There were a few of those years that injuries hurt them.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt.
Right. Blake Griffin was hurt or Chris Paul was hurt, so you got to be fair. But it wasn't every year. And Vinny Del Negro was getting them to the second round. And they were like, you know what? We got the talent. We can win a championship. We can take over LA. We just need a championship coach. And they went and got Doc Rivers. And it wasn't that good. And blew 2-3-1 leads in that 7-year period. And now, Rob, again, if he's available, it's because they, with James Harden and Joel Embiid and a blossoming star in Tyrese Maxey, who's playing well, and another, he's more than a role player. He's not an all-star, but he's more than a role player. Tobias Harris, who's a 20-point scorer, and you got beat by a team that is starting, Rob, 2 undrafted guards. Miami Heat with Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. So that's the resume that impresses you? If you're the Lakers.
And here's the other thing, Chris. I think this is the bigger indictment. After he leaves, Ty Lue shows up with no Kawhi Leonard, Chris, and gets to the Western Conference Finals in his
First time in franchise history.
first time for the franchise.
Yep.
What?
With the same team, Rob, that he gave up the 3-1 lead.
That's what I'm saying.
Minus
Kawhi. And Chris, did he not make moves? It wasn't like it was on autopilot.
Right.
He benched Patrick Beverly. He made moves. He changed different things and made the Clippers, like making some maneuvers, made them better.
Yep.
And they got farther.
Yep. No, it's look, I do think, Rob, and there's one thing that's interesting. The Lakers are all over the place with their interviews, and maybe that's good. Maybe you're seeing what different types of guys are out there. But Terry Stotts, a veteran coach, good coach, not a great coach. I don't know if he's a championship coach, never, gotten to the finals. Not a defensive coach. Then young guys, Darvin Ham and Adrian Griffin, young assistants. And look, Rob, these hot young assistants, Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, Ty Lue, Emi Udoka in Boston, Willie Green in New Orleans, like they've done their thing. Nick Nurse at one point was that young assistant in Toronto, and so there's something to be said for that. But they're bringing in those guys. Then Mark Jackson, I like Mark Jackson, Rob. I think he deserves a shot. I think they need a guy that like the players will respect him.
I'm glad that Mark's gotten some interviews.
Right.
Mark's gotten some interviews, but it doesn't look like he's getting a job.
I mean, I can't.
Because I thought the Kings' job, Chris, if there was going to be one, I thought that was an opportunity. They brought him in, right?
Let me ask you this about the Kings. If you're the Kings, let me say this, Rob. I don't think it's Mike Brown's fault. But if you're the Kings, are you like looking at this a little side-eyed? Like,
no, I know.
Oh
it is like
the optics are bad.
It looks bad. It does look bad, but
I don't see how you can blame Mike Brown.
You can't.
It's just like saying Luke Walton was Red Auerbach because remember he led them. They were like 24-0 or something like that.
Right.
Without Kerr, when Luke led them, a few years ago.
Yeah, they won all those games, right?
Yeah.
And then when Luke got in the chair, it was okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, right. And he's been fired twice? So with the Lakers and the Kings. So